going? Oh God, I am way too loud. Hang on. This should. Yeah. Hi. And Nathan's gone. Yay! I love technology. It works.
Whoa!
Why are we both insanely too loud?
I don't know.
I don't either. I might be able to fix it. Although I apologize to people wearing headphones right now. Volume mixer. Is it this? I don't even see it in here.
Oh, God.
Sound settings. I love it when my computer and everything just decides that it's going to do something different, by the way. It's the best. You know?
Vaguely.
Like, you're like, hey, your computer's over there, and it's like, we have to do a Windows update. And it's like, okay. And it's like, no, we have to do it right now. And then you're like, all right, I'll do it right now then. It's like, okay, cool. Well, just so you know, we're going to fuck all of your shit.
Return everything to factory settings.
Yeah, that's actually fucking stupid assholes.
Get destroyed.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Oh, man.
All right. Like, the worst part is that I can't tell when something is fucked up through, like, my headphones. I can only tell if something's fucked up when I see it on the audio board. And unbeknownst to me, Windows fucked with my settings because they're a dick. All right. Well, if you didn't already rip your headphones out and like throw them to the side and say that you're never listening to us again, it should be normal audio
well, then
now.
Do it now.
Yeah, do it now. Be sure to drop a fuck you first before you go, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, no, I can't fix that. Anyway, fuck it. Restart the whole thing. No one
Fuck
will
it.
know.
We'll do it live.
We're already doing it live, Nathan.
We'll do it live a second time.
Well, I mean,
double live.
This is like the 500.
We'll go live while we're going live.
Oh God, hang on. I can actually make that happen. Let me hit a couple more buttons.
Oh God.
All right. Well, with that all said and aside and all that good shit, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm tired. I'm on 3 hours of sleep and ready to go back to sleep.
Good work, buddy. Please remember, everyone, when we're not fucking up, we do ask you for your support. Patreon.com/dailyinternet. Our merchandise in the link below, or send us what you'd like us to talk about, whether it's a news story, just a random theory, a game, a show, whatever. Send it to us at iReadit at Mjolnir, not media. And I've not had, yep, there you go.
Good job. 10 out of 10.
I know, I'm the fucking best.
I'm glad you stumbled through that as much as I would have.
Yep. Like I said, you can't get on my level, scrub. I'm going to replace your face with the show notes because I moved them over your face so that I could try and figure out where the goddamn audio stuff was. That's fine.
I'll just be a list from now on.
You just are a show note.
I identify as a list.
Is your brother an attack helicopter?
Wow. No. My brother is a cowboy. How dare you?
Oh, can you sexually identify as whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. You can sexually identify as whatever the fuck you want, man.
Let's not get into that conversation right now for the good of everybody involved. Anyway, with all of that aside.
Anyway.
How has your week been? Your week?
My week's been all right. I missed last show because I was ridiculously tired because I drank way too much.
You should do that less.
I have been doing that less, kind of.
Kind of?
Yeah, I'd relegate it to the weekends.
Sometimes?
But majority of the time. I mean, I guess Thursday's a big drinking day for me because I don't go in to work on Friday until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
You gotta love those big drinking days.
Yeah, so that's fun. for me and not my liver.
You don't need one of those.
No, I can get replacement. There's this place around the corner. It's about a block or two. I can go down there and open up the freezer, and inside there's like kidneys and livers and replacement hearts and stuff. So like if I really need to, I could just pop in there.
We have a black market organ shop in Anchorage.
Yeah, it's some crematorium down the street.
Oh, okay. Well, my week's been good. Did I rant about the shit at work yet? I don't remember. I don't know if I did it last week or the week before.
I don't know.
I'm gonna rant about shit at work real quick. It's finally over now, but it doesn't make it any less irritating.
It's like the moment where you feel like you're Frodo and you're like, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over, Sam.
Pretty much. So basically,
and then you faint, and then a bunch of eagles pick your ass up and drop you off in Rivendell.
To summarize it as best as I can, I was under the impression that I was going to get a promotion in July. I was supposed to get my first evaluation in January, requested the evaluation, was told, no, we're not going to do your evaluation now. We're going to wait till July because then you'll qualify for the promotion. Okay, makes sense.
And then you didn't get the promotion.
Get to July, ask for the evaluation. I wasn't asking for the promotion because I was asking for the evaluation because I was under the impression at that point that my promotion was attached to my evaluation, which it normally would be. And so I request it. We're really busy. He's like, okay, I'll start working on that as soon as I can, but we're super busy. Got it. Cool. Towards the end of July, I bring it up in another conversation. He's like, well, we really need to try and get a little bit of investigation experience for the promotion. Okay. He gives me a small little thing that would count as investigation experience. Continue to poke and prod and stuff. Fast forward to early October. Get my evaluation. Does not recommend me for promotion. I am very upset. Have really long conversations with the boss about this. And am told that because there was this random document that I did not know existed from 2012 that outlines all of the things that someone in my position has to have done in order to receive their promotion. There's these 10 little boxes you have to check off. I didn't know you needed to check off these 10 little boxes. No one told me about these 10 little boxes. Also, 2012 was when we had 13 employees and the position I'm in only had to worry about its position and not literally 3 others. So we have a long conversation about that and the big pile of bullshit that it is. Then we move forward from there. We get one of the boxes checked off, and then we have one other box to check off. And where he assigns me something that will check off that box. And he's like, all right, I want you to review this and then come back to me with how you're going to conduct this. And I was like, okay. But he's busy with something else, so I don't get to come to him for 2 weeks, which means now, at that point, we only have 2 weeks to get it done. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what it involves is an investigation and writing a report on that investigation.
Mm-hmm.
I have, outside of the mere watching of other people do it, had no idea how to do it. And received no training on how to do it at all.
Well, that's going to be really useful for you.
Oh, it was great. Like, because I literally had no idea what the fuck I was doing. And then it was like, all right, I did this the best I could. And I bring it to my supervisors and they're like, this is wrong. Why is this wrong? And I look at them and I'm like, because I don't know how to do it right. No one told me how to do it right. And they're like, yeah, but you should already know this. And I'm like, not if no one taught me.
That's the best argument. You should already know this. But where was the teacher?
Like the best.
My training failed.
The best analogy that I was able to give, I was like, okay, so you work at a shop, right? Like an auto shop. And you hired a guy to do oil changes and brakes. And he already knew how to do oil changes. He does fantastic oil changes. Great work, great work. And then he wants more money, and you're like, yeah, but I need to make sure you know how to do brakes. And he's like, yeah, I don't know how to do brakes. No one told me how to do brakes. And then finally a vehicle comes in, and you're like, oh, here you go. This is how this car needs a brake change. Change their brakes. And they look at you and go, I don't know how to change brakes. And they're like, just change the brakes. And so you go change the brakes. And then they go look, and they're like, wait a minute. You did it wrong. These aren't the right pads. Why would you change them like this? And it's like, well, because I don't know fucking how. And then they're like, okay, well, you should have just changed them like this. So you try and change them like that. No, not like that, like this. And then so instead of trying to teach you how to do it, they just kneel down and change the brakes. And then they go, look, see, that's how you change brakes. But they didn't explain anything when they did it. They just kind of like arched their back so you couldn't see over their shoulder even and changed the brakes and then stood up and said, voila, the brakes are changed. And then, so you
Good
look,
old dad's teaching, you know?
yeah, so you look at what they did and you're like, okay, I understand. And then the next time they come in, they're like, hey, we got another brake job, slaps you on the back, all you, buddy. And so you change the brakes exactly how they changed the brakes the last time. Problem, the last time it was a Ford Focus. This time it's a Ford F-150 lifted truck. So you change the brakes exactly how you change the brakes on a Focus. Doesn't work the same way on a Ford F-150 truck. Boss comes out as pissed that you didn't do it correctly, and you explained, I did it the same way you did it. And they're like, no, you didn't. You changed it as though it was a Focus and not an F-150. You're wrong. And then you're like, but son of a bitch, I did it exactly how you did it. And they're like, yeah, but it's still wrong. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Now, that said, we finished that report on Friday and got it all sent off and all that good shit. And I did get a good job from said supervisor, so hopefully that means good things.
But what if it was a sarcastic good job?
No, I know when he's being sarcastic. That wasn't it.
You think?
So, yeah, Jennifer Cruz says, insert gif of John Wayne throwing child into pond. Gotta learn to swim somehow.
That's how my dad learned how to swim.
Sink or swim, kid.
That is not how I learned how to swim.
I don't remember anyone teaching me how to swim. I just remember being like 8 and in our school pool, and our school pool had a shallow end and a deep end. And I really wanted to go in the deep end. And so I grabbed the wall and slowly snuck my way over to the deep end. And I looked up at the lifeguard, who is also our music teacher, because it was a small little Oklahoma town and everyone does like quadruple duty there. And looked up at her and smiled and then just started flailing my arms and legs as I went into the deep end.
See, I learned how to swim very, very late. Like, I learned how to do the basics of swimming just so I could stay afloat when I was like 12 or 13. And then when I was 17, I learned how to swim better because I was doing a summer camp for children, and we had to swim for 2 hours every day, and those kids tried to drown you on the deep end.
Fun.
So it took me a little bit to actually swim, but now I'm much, much more comfortable swimming.
Oh. Anyway, so with all that aside, are you ready to like do stuff?
Yep.
You want to talk about some news and some things and such, sir?
Yeah, so I can go back to sleep.
So that you tired bitch.
Oh wait, before we do, I went to the gas station and found these amazing pretzels.
Okay.
The cool thing about them is that they have this like
I am so disappointed right now, just so you
What?
know.
Why?
So there's pictures of pretzels printed on the bag from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And when you first pulled it up, I thought that was just all pretzels, and I was like, "Oh my god, how much is that? I need it. That's a massive fucking bag
I
of
ate
pretzels."
about half of it. These bags come almost all the way full, but they've got this like dust on it that's almost like it's like an oniony, almost cheese dust. That shit's bomb.
So it's the Dorito dust of pretzels.
Yeah, and it's fucking sick.
Oh god.
Because it tastes better than the Dorito dust. Way better than Dorito dust.
10.
Where am I? Right. I'm
10, obviously.
No. I'm used to the show notes being on the right side of the screen, which I guess actually they could be. If I move you way the fuck over here, move the show notes where I normally want them to be. Because the plugin for recording Skype isn't working right now, so I'm just screen capturing your video out of the Skype call. And so if I put anything over top of you, you just disappear behind whatever I put over top of you. So I have to have you on a top window somewhere.
That's because I'm a power top.
Yeah, you a power top. Anyway, psychedelic psilocybin therapy for depression granted breakthrough therapy status by FDA.
It was submitted by Boring Pride to our news.
What does breakthrough status mean, Nathan?
It means that it can finally be tested by the FDA for drug therapies.
Even beyond that, what it means is it puts it onto a super fast track for research and development because it has very strong possibilities that it could have a great potential medicinal use. And so it's not necessarily the FDA giving their stamp of approval on it, but it's giving their stamp of, we will probably approve this because we think you're right. Hurry up. So in the case of what we're looking at right now, it is actually being looked at in emergency treatment for medically resistant depression. Treatment resistant depression. That's what the word I was looking for is.
Yeah, like it's also being used in trials for PTSD and everything too.
So, well, I think things like PTSD and depression are pretty closely linked because of
they're kind of hand holding.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's different causes for each one, but I think they're probably pretty closely linked in terms of how the brain is fucking itself.
Nah, it's completely different.
No,
100%. See, well, like depression's all brain based, while PTSD is all in your big toe.
Absolutely. So if we just hack off their big toe, they'll be fine, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to do that because your balance is also in your big toe.
I mean, take big toe or PTSD, take it or leave it.
Big toe, dude. You want your balance.
Yeah, fine. Suffer then.
I would rather have my big toe over PTSD, and you can quote me on that.
No. If you keep your big toe, you're keeping PTSD.
I'd rather keep my big toe and have PTSD, and you can quote me on that.
Says the guy who doesn't know the true effects of PTSD.
That's not true. I know what PTSD does. I've watched The Punisher.
Damn, bro. But you haven't had it.
You don't know that.
You're right, I don't.
I've had a very traumatic childhood.
I'm sorry.
That's why I'm so funny.
Oh, right.
You got to get that just right level of trauma.
Yep, abuse.
Mm-hmm.
To where your only escape is to be an edgy, funny guy.
Exactly.
Because otherwise you'll do one of two things: kill other people and or yourself.
There's just definitely and or.
9.
Active shooter reported at Pittsburgh Synagogue.
Well, I mean, they're not active now.
Well, yeah.
This is submitted by Stealthy Stalker Panda to our news.
So a gunman opened fire at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There have been several that have been killed. The shooter also got into a shootout with police and SWAT members, injuring several of both of those. I believe both 2 SWAT and 2 police members were injured as well. They were captured and brought into custody and are being treated for what is described as multiple gunshot wounds.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm amazed that they're alive. Anyway, and yeah, god damn it, people.
Yeah, no, that's fucking crazy. All because he didn't like Jewish people. He also didn't like Trump because he thought Trump was a globalist.
I mean, they don't
I don't know. Trump's pretty nationalist. He even said it.
Yeah, they don't have to make sense most of the time. There were 11 people that were killed, most of which were all elderly individuals. Yeah.
Well, we stand with you.
It is nice to see the... nice is not the quite word. It is comforting to see the amount of support that has been being reached out, both to the Jewish community as well as specifically the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. It's so shitty to me that such bad things have to happen for people to have a reason to join together. And I'm really tired of it having to be that way.
That's what The Watchmen was about. Like when you watch it from, oh man, that's not just the superhero movie point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the world was pretty complacent and fighting each other until they banded together under one thing.
Yeah, that was the entirety of Dr. Manhattan's plan.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the entirety of Ozymandias' plan.
Yeah, whatever.
Dr. Manhattan didn't have a plan until very, very last minute.
You knew what I meant.
And then apparently there's more because they're now in the same universe as other DC comics. So like you can get Superman interacting with Night Owl and stuff like that.
I want to see Superman fight Dr. Manhattan.
That might happen. I know I think the Reverse Flash sees him, freaks out, and then his head explodes.
Nice.
It's like at the very beginning of the arc.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to say on this matter. I mean, unfortunately, we have had to report way too many of these, and I know that I personally have become incredibly desensitized to the entirety of these situations. They don't.
Yep. There was even a South Park episode about it, the first one of the season. It was about school shootings and about how everyone's desensitized to them except for Stan's mom, and she goes crazy, and everyone's like, "Oh man, she must be, having menopause or something."
Like, they don't frustrate me any less, but I don't know what to say on it besides, like, because the problem is that there are solutions to these situations, and
yeah, it's mental health treatment.
The people that are able to push forward these solutions are not going to do so. So
no, of course not. Just really unfortunate because they're not going to, because it's going to cost money, and they're more willing to save money than save people.
Well, I mean, you could also say they're more willing to spend money in other places than save people.
Everything's always reactionary. It's never proactive.
Are you a third world country with oil? Congratulations, you're being rescued.
Man, I bet you could make a pretty good couples cosplay where one of them is like a thing of castor oil and the other's a U.S. soldier.
Yeah, or just an American flag.
Yeah, that works too.
8.
Obama. There's a pattern of Republicans running the economy into the ground and Democrats having to come back and clean things up.
This is submitted by the autarch to our politics.
Well, I don't...
Damn, that's an opinion.
Yeah, it's like I don't entirely agree with just painting the broad swaths of things. And for the...
I have much higher respect for previous Republicans than these newer ones.
Well, it's not necessarily these newer ones. It is more of
this president.
Well, it's not even just...
Well, actually, a lot of these Republicans now are kind of balls.
Well, it depends on where we're looking, because I feel like a lot of it isn't necessarily Republican or Democrat. I feel like it's more old versus new, or old versus young is actually the better way to describe it, because there's lots of young Republicans, like age like 35 and less, that I have a lot more things that I agree with, because when you are in that age range of, we'll just say 40 or younger, where you are more of the later generations that are trying to deal with the things that the generations before you have caused, even if you fall on one side of the aisle or another, your entire perspective is different.
Yeah.
So a lot of the younger people is just... It's more of these old guys that are 80 years old and have been in office for 25 to 40 years.
I'm very detached from their constituents.
Detached from the world. Like, they still don't understand why the things that worked 30 years ago don't work today anymore. Like, they just don't have that concept. It's no different than the people that went to college in 1970 and were saying, like, I was able to pay for all of my college while working a part-time job. And it's like, yeah, but you got paid $6 an hour at that part-time job, which is the equivalent of like $23 today. And your college only cost you $1,200 a semester, not 40 grand.
And your books were ridiculously cheaper.
Like, your comparisons
even with
don't
inflation,
work.
Like, it's astronomically not the same.
And I feel like a lot of the political discourse is less based on Republican versus Democrat. Like, most people will lean farther toward, most younger crowds lean farther towards Democrat because they have been the more
women as well
progressive party. But I definitely think that it's more of just old versus young, the elderly versus the youth.
Really. And you that's not saying that you are not getting young Republicans, because you are, unfortunately. But
Damn, Nathan.
I mean, we have a couple who listen to us, unfortunately. So it's not that the Republican Party is the party of old white dudes, even though it is. The Republican Party does try to get younger people to view with them, because when their current people die out, they're not going to have very many people left.
Right.
It's just a much different demographic for young Republicans compared to young Democrats.
Well, and I feel like a lot of it is a level of being misled about different topics. So, and that can be true on both sides of the aisle as well.
Oh, absolutely. No, I saw a comment though in this thread there on this thing. I thought it was pretty funny. I sent it to you earlier. It was like,
keep talking, because I'm going to refill my coffee, but I can still hear you.
It was like, America is a car. You put it in D to go forward, and you put it in R to go backwards. And I laughed really hard at that, because I'm in the middle. I feel more to the left than really the middle, but I don't know. I thought it was fucking hilarious, because it's kind of accurate,
You can move forward by driving in reverse. It just requires a little bit more skill and talent.
You have to do a lot of backing up first.
You just have to be willing to whip the car around and, look behind you.
And then, I mean, same thing with going into drive from going in reverse constantly. If you just whip that bitch around.
Although, Nathan, if you're going to say that you kind of don't go towards either way, that means you're in neutral and you're not going anywhere.
That's fine.
That's fine?
Yeah. I mean, if it's not broke.
But it is broken.
I'll inch forward in certain directions depending on if I need to.
The reason that Obama came out on this statement, though, is he is irritated at the claims of the miracle change in the economy under Donald Trump. And I talked about this.
Show me his texts.
Well, and I talked about this when Trump got elected across the first year.
Where's the text? Where's the text?
That everyone was talking about how Trump, like the economy had taken such a good turn after Trump came into office. And every single president,
not anymore.
Every single president, their first couple of years in office, especially when you're looking at numbers and stocks and the economy, is based off the president before them. Like, people slammed Obama when he first came into office because the economy just started to tank and tank and tank. And that was all because of the shit that he got handed from Bush.
Yep.
Because Bush was handed a great economy from Clinton.
And he destroyed it.
And then, well, two things happened. One, the dot-com bubble happened, which really hurt the economy. And then we started a war. And wars initially can dry the economy, but we just kept spending more money on something that we weren't getting anywhere with, so it just became an expense instead of something that we were generating money from. The other thing is that, like, if you are the main person that is fighting in the war, you don't make money. America made money on the other wars by selling things to the people that were fighting in them.
Yeah. These people didn't have money in the first place. They only had oil.
So...
And it's not like we can just take their oil and start selling. Oh.
Except that doesn't work anymore because we cut all the taxes and fees and everything from the big oil companies. So now we don't even get their money.
Damn. Wow, we really shot ourselves in the foot there, huh?
I mean, we helped our oil buddies out.
Did we?
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, no, we absolutely did.
I don't know. Saudi Arabia is it's doing fairly all right.
They're shooting themselves in the foot after they dismembered one of their own journalists. So
they're dismembering their own foot.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're gonna make tacos with it. If we want to make a reference.
That
to
was
it.
One of the grossest things I've ever seen, and I have to admit I would probably eat foot tacos.
Foot tacos.
just to see what it tastes like, just once.
So, but it is true that a very large part of these first couple years of the Trump presidency, the economy has been based on the groundwork that Obama laid forth. Now, the next couple of years, we'll see what happens, and it's already looking like it's starting to take a downward turn.
All of the 2018 upturn has already been down. Like it's all been erased.
And it is frustrating. Now
we are at the end of 2017 when it comes to stocks again. And
Yay.
It's only perceived to go down more.
Well, it's because all of their solutions are short-term. They're not long-term.
No, they're incredibly short-sighted.
They just see instant benefit.
And now we're reaping the opposite. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and now we're hitting that negative reaction. And if it means getting instant upturns for these shitty reactions, I would much rather put in a long-term plan, because I don't want to go up and down, up and down, up and down on this economic roller coaster.
Well, I mean, the economy should always go up, down, up, down, up, down, but it should always slowly trend towards the up, is the idea. Like, you'll see the little jagged line, but it'll still have a median that continues to rise. The problem that we're having is that we're starting to just look like a mountainside.
Yeah, and we definitely don't want that.
So,
well, I mean, there's that.
Or a friggin' heart meter. It just flatlines. Anyway.
7.
Schoolboy takes microwave to school to carry books after school bans bags.
Our Mad Lads. This is submitted by Sam596 to R Not the Onion.
So,
this motherfucker, he's my goddamn hero.
So here, first thing, Nathan, why do you think the backpacks were banned? I will state first, this is in the United Kingdom.
They were banned because they didn't comply with uniforms, because they were all different colors and whatnot.
Not almost. So there are book bags that are allowed now, but they are significantly smaller than what was allowed before. Now, in America, we have places banning backpacks or making you wear clear backpacks so that
Kevlar backpacks,
so that you can see if you have a gun inside. In the UK, they banned backpacks because these massive backpacks that kids were carrying all of their books in, because of a lot of other reasons, there were children getting injured either from back damage or because someone would turn around and their backpack would hit someone in the face.
That makes sense.
So they banned backpacks.
That happens a lot, actually, in American schools.
It does. The problem is that there's not enough, because the idea of a locker in school now to hold your books and stuff is atrocious, because they give you 5 minutes to get from one class to another, and you don't have time to get to the locker, get your books, get out of your locker, and try and get to your class, especially if you're at a larger school. I went to an itty-bitty little tiny school. Literally all of the classrooms were in one hallway, and we even then, where there was only 100 people total in the high school, we did not have time to make it to our locker, get our books, take a piss, and make it to class on time.
In our school, freshman hall was at the opposite end of all of the classrooms except for the math hall. It was right next to the math hall, and that was it. So if you had math, or if you had dance or play production, you're fine. If you didn't, though, you had to make sure that you brought your books for the next class to your previous class. And if all of your shit was in one end of the building, you might as well just bring 2 backpacks.
Yeah, exactly. The problem isn't that kids were, throwing their backpacks into one another and crushing their faces in. The problem is the situation that you've put them in terms of how their school functions. Yeah,
and it's not only unhealthy for the children to feel rushed in between these classes like this, to where they have to practically speed walk to these courses, but no, I just lost my train of thought.
It's okay. So anyway, in a silent protest, he started to take things like wicker baskets, a microwave to hold his books in.
Dude, fucking mad lad. That guy, he's a fucking madman.
And he got kicked out of school for it.
Well, yeah.
Some bullshit.
Of course the school is going to kick him out. He's protesting. He's saying no to their authority.
Cheeky bastards.
But does anything in their like handbook or anything say that he can't do that?
Probably not. They're just being assholes.
Then he should definitely appeal that, because fuck those guys.
6.
Man arrested for groping woman on flight says president says it's okay to grab women's private parts.
Jesus Christ. This was submitted by No Drama Obama to our news.
No Drama Obama. That's a great name. Anyway, so yeah, guy was on a plane. Woman in front of him was asleep. Lifted up her sweater and started doing the touchy-touchy.
Now, see, at first she thought, oh man, that must be, an accident. So she moved away and then stopped for a moment. And then it happened again. And she's like, what the fuck? And I feel it's understandable.
So he's being charged with one federal count of abusive sexual conduct. At the same time, though, God damn it.
This is what was okayed when he became president. Guys, you can definitely go around sexually assaulting whoever you want. Definitely.
Absolutely. No problems whatsoever. That is not what I wanted here. Number.
You can quote Michael on that.
No, don't quote me on that.
Absolutely. Just quote him.
Please don't.
Quote the Michael Nevermore.
I don't know who Michael Nevermore is, so go ahead and quote him.
No, that's you. Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, just act dumb.
5.
I'm just gonna shorten this to Khashoggi. If you want to just give us all 4 of those real quick, Nathan.
This is submitted by Tremble and Despair to Our World News, by Instant Reporter to Our World News, by Bitcoinfo to Our World News, and by Instant Reporter again to Our World News.
So, real quick, another update on the Saudi Arabia, Mr. Khashoggi, the journalist that left Saudi Arabia, became a United States citizen, tried to go to the consulate for Saudi Arabia in Turkey, in Istanbul, so that he could finalize his divorce papers so he could get remarried to somebody else, and never came back out. So one more update currently on that. First off, there was somebody that was one of the Saudi operatives that is currently in question for killing the guy, was seen walking around Istanbul in his clothes, in Khashoggi's clothes.
Are you sure it's not Constantinople?
No.
Okay, because we went from Istanbul to Constantinople.
Yeah, exactly.
Why'd we go from Istanbul to Constantinople?
I don't know. I don't remember the song.
It's nobody's business but the Turks.
Okay. Anyway, additionally, drone footage the day after his disappearance found a bunch of Saudi operatives burning a bunch of documents outside the consulate.
Not suspicious.
Not suspicious at all.
That's just normal. That's what they do.
His children were not allowed to leave Saudi Arabia, despite being dual U.S. citizens. They specifically were barred from traveling, although that has been lifted, and at least currently his son has completely left Saudi Arabia and intends never to return. The next piece of important information, though, is that his body has been found. Literally disfigured and dismembered and dropped to the bottom of a well on the Saudi consulate's property.
Damn, I really want to make a joke, but I shouldn't.
So, what this means at this point, I don't fucking know, because the problem is that a lot of the people that can do anything about this aren't going to. Like, you have people like Canada and Canada and Australia trying to hold Saudi Arabia accountable for this. But the other countries that need to, like, put their foot down, i.e. us in the United States of America, are not doing so.
Especially us, since Khashoggi had a dual citizenship.
He was a U.S. citizen. Don't worry, not a big deal.
That's a big thing. Actually, I've seen a lot of Facebook posts where it's like, why do we care about this guy if it's a Saudi Arabian matter? And even my dad had asked me, and I was like, Dad, he's got dual citizenship. He's an American citizen.
Yeah, they killed an American.
Yeah. And
like the fact that they killed anyone at all, but the fact that America just is like, whatever.
The president was lacking in his response, and Miss Khashoggi has been like, "Fuck you! I'm not gonna go and see you, Trump, because your response to this has been nothing but abysmal and atrocious."
I mean, Saudi Arabia pays us like $125 billion a year, so yeah, better just let them do what they want.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. Nothing else has happened beyond
legal for the rich.
Yeah, nothing else has happened beyond he went there, he disappeared, we believe he got murdered, we now know he got murdered, they did everything they could to cover it up, we found the body, world's upset, America doesn't care.
Ridiculous.
4.
Mom with gut feeling stops school shooter before planned attack.
This was submitted by JFX37 to Our Uplifting News and has been gilded like 8 times.
1,000,000 times. Although Reddit now has 3 different types of gilding. They have silver, gold, and platinum, and it's just... Anyway.
What? I didn't even realize.
Yeah. That's why you see
I've been browsing on mobile, and the only thing I've seen on mobile is gold.
In any case, so this woman in Lumberton, New Jersey, she woke up to a racist message on Facebook that said, because she is with a black man, so they have mixed children, although that shouldn't matter, but that's the important part of this story. She has 3 biracial children, a 16-year-old, an 11-year-old, and an 8-year-old, woke up to a very, very racially insensitive message from just some random guy about how her children were, insert very inappropriate words here, and how they hope that terrible things happen to them. And so she was concerned and filed a police report. And wasn't sure that anything would come of it, but she was still concerned. So her and a few of her friends did everything they could to get some more information on the guy, especially because when they found out who he was, he had a ton of very racially insensitive propaganda on their social media pages, and their profile picture, it was a picture of them holding a gun. And they're like, this is concerning. So they followed up on their police report. The police responded and were like, you know what, we will go ahead and go check it out because this does seem kind of sketch. So they got the guy's address and the police went there right as he was leaving his house. And he was leaving his house with 200 rounds of ammunition, a bulletproof vest, a firearm, a 100-round high-capacity magazine, and a written plan of attack of going to shoot 2 different schools in the area.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah. Good job. I'm really glad that you did that.
That's good response
woman.
Time too.
Like, I'm really glad that you didn't just shake it off and ignore it, because we shouldn't do that anyway, because that's not okay. And I'm really glad that you took the extra steps, because you probably just saved somewhere between 20 to 40 children's lives.
Mm-hmm. Unless his gun jammed, but that's beyond the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
At that point, it's an act of God to tell him to stop.
So, good job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This has been nothing but a good job on your end.
Like, I am so glad, because like I don't want to see this literally ever again, and I really hope that we will start working towards a way to make this less of a norm.
These fucking racist people feel so bolstered.
Jennifer says someone sent her a thank you letter at least. Someone give her a fucking medal.
A rosary. Something of the year.
She did receive invitations and visits from families all over the area about how well it, like, thank you essentially. But yeah, no, thank you, just all over in general. And I hope you and your family have a wonderful time.
You know what she gets? She gets the golden burrito. You know how you get the golden burrito?
How's that?
By having the best gut feeling of the year.
Nice. I like this. I like this. I feel like that should be a shirt.
The golden burrito.
Yeah.
We'll need to make that a shirt and send it to her.
I will see what we can do, sir. Sir.
I will see what we can do, shirt.
United States spy agencies have determined that Russia and China are eavesdropping on President Trump's personal phone calls in order to gain information that they can use to influence American policy.
This is submitted by Image Poem to Our World News.
So despite his protests and saying otherwise, because, you know, he only uses government phones and he doesn't use a phone that often. That's a lie. President Trump actually has 3 personal iPhones, none of which are government issue, and only 2 of which have had their security parameters updated by the NSA. And so one of them is completely unsecured, and he uses, of course, that specific device to make phone calls with friends, text people, some of which are in foreign countries, such as China and Russia. And since they're not secured at all on any level, they have already found that there are people listening in and checking through.
Between his calls, between him and Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
Hannity talks to the president.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
So if you don't, and he claimed that he never uses any phone that isn't a government phone. iPhones are not government phones.
From an iPhone.
He tweeted that from an iPhone. There is no government phone that is an iPhone. Normally they use things like Blackberries that have much stronger security parameters. Also, the president is supposed to receive a new phone every 30 days just in case the phone has been compromised. And he's not changed phones once, citing the inconvenience it causes.
Yo, I'm saying. Oh wait, it's the second part here. Go for it.
Obama says, welcome back, Obama. If Republicans really cared about Clinton's emails, they would be up in arm over Trump's iPhone.
This is submitted by Boggart's boss to Our Politics.
And
it is absolutely 100% accurate.
Yeah, nobody in Trump's camp is giving one single shit about his iPhone or his text messages or anything like that. Whereas this is
willingly complacent to potential treason.
Whereas this is the thing that all of them were bitching about with Hillary Clinton and her private email server. Private email server, private cell phone, private emails, private text messages. They're the same, just different devices.
Absolutely 100% the same, and you guys are being complete hypocrites about it.
Welcome to America. We're real good at being hypocritical.
It is absolutely disgusting.
Absolute ass.
Like, I've been disgusted by a lot of things that has been transpiring because of Trump. This is definitely one of them. For instance, earlier when we were talking about the sexual assault, that is something that is not okay and has spawned because of Trump.
Well, and it's,
I mean, I guess there have always been sexual assaults, but the people feel bolstered.
Well, it's literally just it's less about what you care about, and it's more of an us versus them mentality. I was watching a debate between some people running for governor, I think, and one of them said this line perfectly, and it was, I don't believe you to be a racist, but the people who vote for you do. And I feel like it's very similar to Trump's whole thing. Is like, some people, like, he may very not well be a racist, but racists think he is, and they are going to feel bolstered by that. Well, same with people who want to commit sexual assaults. I don't know if that's quite the right way to look at it. I guess it depends on each individual person, because it might not be that people that have some level of disdain, dislike, hatred towards a certain group of people, whether it is people of color or people of particular religion or anything like that, whether they see Trump as a racist, and more of that they see somebody that will allow them to be racist. And also, racists don't see what they do as being racist.
You generally allow racism if you are a racist.
Sure.
Oftentimes, it is very much not an okay thing if you are not of the racist mentality.
They see him as someone that will allow them to propagate what they want to do.
Right. It bolsters them.
Yeah.
Because they view, like, they view, hey, you know, he's not doing anything for this. That must mean he's secretly a racist.
Yeah.
You can't say it, otherwise the mainstream media is going to tear him apart.
But, and like I was about to say earlier, I think it's less of I don't think it's necessarily.
And he all but said it at a fucking rally when he said that he was a fucking nationalist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the funniest things, especially with a lot of people in politics, is that anyone who is a little bit farther to the left, like, you know, like Bernie Sanders, who has the word socialist in their ideations, they're like, you know who was socialists? Nazis. Yeah, Nazis
Except they weren't.
Well, they technically their official like designation was nationalist socialist. And so, but there's a bunch of them.
Policies were not socialist.
That's what they claimed. The Nazi Party claimed that they were nationalist socialist. But the funny thing about that is that all of these people that are down saying how bad socialism is are also people that are claiming about how great nationalism is.
I feel like globalism really is what we should be working on.
You know, there's lots of dreams that we have. So real quick on this topic, though, one of the things that I was wanting to say a moment ago is I don't necessarily, like, while we can sit here and be like, yes, there's this massive level of hypocrisy and, you know, about this idea of people that have one ideation, seeing particular people as an ally to, you know, bolster their ideation. I don't necessarily think it's that they don't care. I think it's purely an us versus them mentality and what ammunition we have towards them. Because so many people saw Hillary Clinton as an enemy. As a
singular email.
Yep, she is an email. So many people saw Hillary Clinton or Obama as enemies. And so any ammunition they had against them was ammunition they were going to load and fire. And because that is the opposite of what I want. Whereas if it fits into what I want, as long as we are still getting to do what I want to do, I don't care. So I don't think it's a matter of each individual issue. It is literally just, is this my team or is it not?
And you choose your teams by things that line up with your ideologies more.
Yeah.
So if one team is more racist than the other, and you're a racist, you're going to feel bolstered by them.
Well, and like I mentioned earlier, one thing to keep in mind is that racists don't call themselves racist.
No, of course not.
The oppressed parties are the ones who look at the oppressors as racists.
Yeah.
Because the racists don't believe they're doing anything wrong.
No. They're being downtrodden because everyone's being racist towards them because a few of their members are fairly racist of their race. For instance, white people, a lot of people claim that things are being racist towards them. I don't necessarily think that they're being racist towards them. I feel like prejudice is more of the word because racism implies like a superiority over the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just not allowing people in certain areas because of their skin color, that's more of a prejudice thing, unless you assert that I'm not letting you in here because your skin color is inferior.
2.
Explosive devices found in mail sent to Hillary Clinton and Obama.
This was submitted by Oakhurst, our news.
It was also sent to several other people. This story has actually, for the most part at this point, been completely wrapped up.
Hold on, really quick. Jennifer says America was built on the back of the immigrant. The largest periods of economic growth were possible by huge percentages of immigrants that allowed those to happen. I got in a giant Facebook argument with my uncle over this last week over me saying that it is incredibly unpatriotic to not accept immigrants into our country. 100% un-American.
Yeah, that's true. But see, the thing is that people don't actually believe in what America is. They believe in this idea of America that they've built in their mind.
And their idea of America is wrong.
Oh, well, I mean, that's also up to conjecture as well.
Definitely wrong. It says it on the Statue of Liberty. We accept everything.
Yeah, well. You know, the Statue of Liberty isn't very American because it came from France.
So did, like... You know what else isn't very American? White people.
Yeah. Anyway, so This has thankfully been wrapped up. Nobody was hurt. Somebody had been mailing pipe bombs to different members of the Democratic Party, or just people who very strongly leaned towards allies of
some dickhead from Florida. Not Florida man, though, because our Florida man has denounced this man.
Yeah. So he was from Florida. He was a radical by all measures of the word. They tried to cover his van, and they took his van into custody, which they believe is where he was building these improvised explosives. And the van was
so many stickers all over that bit,
covered with the most, like, not even just Republican, just the wildest alt-right level of propaganda. Now, people are going to be holding very strongly to the idea that he was a diehard Trump supporter. And I don't want to paint the picture that Trump supporters.
I mean, he did have a bunch of those stickers that kind of supported him.
Right. But I don't want people to get the problem is with stories like this one. Like, yes, there is this guy who is farther on the right side, who is fucking insane, who is mailing pipe bombs to people on the left side, and that's a problem. And we can try to say, but we have without a level of certainty, that due to things like Donald Trump taking office, that people like them are empowered and bolstered. But I don't want to further push and create the divide of all Trump supporters are people that would love to see Obama blown into pieces.
No. All right. So not all Trump supporters are, but you have a disproportionate amount of Trump supporters that would resort more to violence against the other side than from the Democrats coming forward. We've had like a couple incidences of violence during riots, as well as the baseball shooting coming from the Democrat side. And again, some of that violence in the riots can be attributed to people just being dickheads and not being part of the political movement, just wanting to riot. But at the same time, you have all of these alt-right individuals, and when your government, when your people representing your Republican state are more moving towards the alt-right, you're going to attract more of those crazies, because you are saying, hey, we're believing in some of your ideology. You should come over to us. You should vote for us because, you know, we are believing in some of these conspiracy theories that you are.
Yeah.
Which is why fucking, of course, Trump would. Trump has explained that this whole bomb problem is because of the mainstream media. So thank you for that. We now understand it as the mainstream media's fault for having bombs mailed to them.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous. Goddamn victim blaming.
Real quick, I want to address a conversation that's going on in the chat room, specifically about globalism. And instead of going to he said, she said stuff, basically, I'm just going to summarize the two sides of the conversation by my understanding real quick. One side of people in our chat room is discussing that the world is not as large as we think it is. It gets smaller every day. Globalism is going to be the future. We are global, like humans are a global society in such a way already. And that is going to be the next step we take, especially if we want to hit the idea of like Star Trek. Other side is saying that globalism is unreasonable because of the small scale that humans operate on. That a global responsibility is one thing, but trying to enforce a global agenda on a local scale doesn't work. And while I understand what you're saying, the idea isn't that it can't happen, that it can't function. The idea is just adding another tier above where we are. We already have a lot of what of the consideration of globalism. It's no different than how you have a federal government, a state government, and then your local government, whether, you know, that's a municipality or a borough or anything like that. It has a tier system of, we have this global blanket of this, and we already kind of have these. This is why there are, you know, acts against humanity that exist, and it doesn't matter who does them. The world as a whole should condemn that action. And so we can hit a level of globalism, and you're right, we cannot have a global agenda that goes all the way down to the village that has 23 people in it, that's 15 miles outside of even a power source. The idea is less of trying to have this universal agenda from top to bottom, and more of that we have this universal goal,
a universal umbrella.
Yeah, an umbrella, a goal, a sphere, a bubble that is geared towards the idea of trying to bring humanity and society together, so that instead of spending immense amounts of time, money, resources, and lives on fighting one another, we can build one another up. Yes, you're still going to have problems. Yes, there will, no matter what system of society you put in place, there is going to be problems. None of them is perfect. Capitalism, you hit late stage capitalism, it all falls apart. Communism looks great on paper, but like human nature and greed just completely destroys it entirely. Socialism requires a very large amount of understanding, agreement, and funding for it to actually work, which again, when you come to things like greed, human nature, it struggles. No form of societal construction will run absolutely 100% smoothly. The idea for globalism is to push towards a more conjoined society on a global level.
So it's like, hey, we're not going to go and kill all of you just because you guys have found a bunch of oil. Instead, we should work with you.
It's an idealistic, optimistic approach, but for the most part, what I see in our future, we have two possibilities. We can either hit Star Trek or we can hit Mad Max. And if I'm choosing between the two of those, I want Star Trek.
Yeah, I want to have sex with freaky green alien people too.
I mean, depending on what level of like radiation and stuff, you might be able to achieve that in Mad Max too.
You got me there.
David's like, fuck it, surprise me, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Fuck me up, fam.
1.
Teen climate activists to crowd of thousands. We can't save the world by playing by the rules because the rules have to change.
This is submitted by Maxwell Hill to Our World News.
You know how sad it is to me when there are 15-year-olds that are having to get on a stage in front of tens of thousands of people to say, please don't murder the planet?
I mean, ridiculously said.
Like, while I appreciate their, like, this particular 15-year-old, Greta Thunberg, while I appreciate that she is willing to stand up and fight for that message, this is not something that a 15-year-old should be having to deal with.
No.
You know what?
A 15-year-old shouldn't be having to deal with school shootings either.
You know what a 15-year-old should be dealing with, Nathan?
Math homework.
Math homework, acne, and getting their driving permit. Like, they should be focused on their growth and development as people who are in a very confusing time in their life, not trying to advocate for a global change to protect the environment from the abuse of humanity.
And yet here we are.
This is the world that we've pushed our own young generations into, that they have to achieve a level of knowledge and understanding of the world at such a young age that they can fight for it before they're even allowed to do anything about it.
See, and what I have a problem with is that a lot of people are like, oh, they're teenagers, they're going to be adults anyways, let's teach them, this is a lesson. But it's like, you don't realize how much you already thrust onto teenagers when it comes to responsibilities that they just don't understand. For the first 13 years of their lives, they were treated one fucking way because they were a child. And then now they're treated slightly more like an adult, but still like a child. It's like you're expected to be acting like an adult, yet you're still treated like a child. And we expect way too much of teenagers, to be honest.
Well, the weird part about teenagers, though, is like as soon as they hit 18, it's like, well, all your little forgivenesses of being a teenager are gone. Like, time to just adult it up, motherfucker. Like, get on board or get wrecked.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that we live in a world where these children feel forced to really stand up and act. Like, I understand this isn't new. Teenagers have been vocal about things in the past and have been more mature in certain aspects, but like, I don't feel like they feel that they should feel the need to, and I feel like these kids definitely feel the need to.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that this makes me think of, just isn't that, like, the fact that a 15-year-old is in Sweden is one of the brightest flames, one of the loudest voices when it comes to climate change and trying to protect our future as a species. One of the things that it makes me think of, I don't remember who the quote is from, and I could probably look it up, but I'm not going to right now. And it is that good times bring about weak men bring about bad times bring about strong men bring about good times. And that always just falls in a cycle. It just keeps going, because if things are good, people don't have to be as powerful, as strong as they needed to be to get through the rougher times. And so we are seeing, like, I mean, you know, people talk about the golden age and you know, the greatest generation and how great things were when we came. And those are the people that grew up in the age of there was no struggle, there was no strife, there was no hard time. And those are the people that are in office right now, and those are the people that we could see as the weak people. And the weak people have brought about a rough time for society. And this rough time and this rough society is bringing about strong people such as 15-year-old Greta Thunberg out of Sweden. And so now we are going to have to see that cycle continue to propagate itself of where it goes. We are bringing about these strong people who will bring about a better time, a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. They
don't have
tempered.
A choice.
Yeah, they're being tempered.
Yeah, you don't get a choice in that.
It's like, really unfortunate that we rob these children of their childhood, really. Here I am in my 20s, still don't know what to do. I'm still like a fucking child. The 20s is just another fucking teen years.
Yeah, you just have more responsibilities and less direction.
Yeah.
So, anyway. I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me! Nathan, what did you care about in the last couple of weeks since you weren't here last week?
Realistically, it has just been my list of horror movies that I've been watching.
What have you been watching?
Well, as of this last Thursday, I switched from horror movies that I haven't seen before to classic black and white horror movies. So the last couple days, I've watched Night of the Living Dead, it's like 40 something, 41. White Zombie with Bela Lugosi, and The Wolfman with Bela Lugosi and Lon Chaney. I think it's Lon Chaney. It might be Lon Chaney Jr. Damn, it's snowing outside.
Yeah, I was going to wait for that to be my thing of the day. I was going to say, welcome to winter, Nathan.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
But before that, I watched a Rob Zombie film called 31. And that movie was it was a trip. There was a dwarf in it who was dressed like Hitler, who walked around trying to stab people to death.
Oh, joy.
But before that, I watched High Tension and Witching and Bitching. Let me tell you, High Tension is from 2005, and it's supposed to be this film that has inspired a lot of French horror writers for things like Martyrs and everything. And I can understand, because it was an all right horror film until the twist ending.
Okay.
The twist ending ruined the film.
I'm sorry.
Because it's about, all right, spoilers, and if you guys plan on watching this movie, you should just skip ahead. So the twist ending.
Skip ahead in this live video that you can't skip ahead in.
It's from 2005, guys. That's 13 years ago. Cool it. So the twist ending is that the crazy serial killer who at the beginning of the movie had sex with a decapitated head was actually the woman who's like the main character all along. It's like a weird Fight Club moment. But when you go back and think of the feats of strength that both of them have performed, it doesn't make sense whatsoever.
Oh, well.
Which was kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
Witching and Bitching was a perfect movie.
Good.
aside from like the blatant misogyny, even though it was a movie about witches and which empower women, it was still fairly misogynistic. But it was a perfect movie because a man dressed like SpongeBob gets murdered.
Oh, okay.
So like there's like this heist at the beginning, and everybody's dressed up as these different things. There's a man dressed like SpongeBob. There's a man dressed like Minnie Mouse. The main character is spray painted silver and dressed like Jesus, and his friend is dressed like a green army man. And they break into this gold pawn shop, and they rob it of their golden rings, of their golden wedding rings. And the guy who is the Jesus lookalike takes his kid on the heist, and so he's running with the bag, and he's got his kid over his shoulder, and his kid's got 2 revolvers firing at the police as they're running away.
Man, I just wait, is it still going? Yeah, okay. I just took a minute to like look at the sound levels, and they're still like strangely high. I'll have to toy with it some more later. Like, they're not blowing out the speakers anymore, but they are definitely higher than they should be. Especially me. Like, you're actually at a pretty decent level right now. I'm, like, loud.
Well, I mean, that's normal.
Yeah, that's pretty normal, you loud-ass bitch. Yeah, I got it. I heard you.
Damn. I mean, you said it. I was thinking it.
So, as Nathan mentioned earlier, happy winter, Alaska. It has come upon us. It is snowing right now in Anchorage, Alaska, and we actually got a fall this year due to some crazy weather patterns. We hadn't had snow or even really cold up until today. Like, we were almost made it all the way till November, which we knew.
It was kind of chilly.
There was a couple days that it was chilly, but it wasn't cold. And so we'd almost made it to November without getting any snow whatsoever, but there is definitely some snow out on the ground right now, and it is still falling. So I guess it is time for us to actually be winter. Normally in Alaska, we get snow in like September. And
yeah,
and we had green grass and clear skies all the way up until like this week.
I don't know. The trees started shedding their leaves way earlier in the month.
Yeah, I think it's because they didn't know. They're just like, I'm taking my leaves off.
All right, we're doing it. We're doing it, guys.
I don't know what else to do. Take them off.
Take them off.
Josh says, I was thinking you too, Michael, you're loud. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, we had all this balanced out and set up and stuff, and now it seems to have just fucked itself. So I'll have to completely redo my audio setup to try and figure out what the fuck happened and why.
Gotta fix it.
Yeah. I hate this shit.
Facts. Skype sucks too.
Anyway. Yeah, Skype sucks too. Everything sucks. You know what? You want to just get the fuck... the other thing, I did have something that I cared about. Beyond that, it's snowing now, and that is if you cannot see the video version, I am wearing a hat for the show Ruby. I have actually been catching up on that show. I got through season 4. Season 5, I will be watching season 5 shortly. Season 6 started yesterday on Rooster Teeth first, and God damn, like the first couple seasons of the show were all like fun and cutesy. With it had a pretty serious edge on it, but it was like,
and then Monty Ohm died.
Well, and then Monty Ohm died, and they just decided that when Monty Ohm died, that they should just destroy all fun, love, smiles, and joy in the show, because Jesus Christ, like, after...
Did they make the characters less Mary Sue?
Yeah.
That's good, because, like, that was a real big put-off and why I stopped watching the show.
So
all of the characters were Mary Sue's and very boring.
Like, so, see, Monty Ohm passed away halfway through season 3, and... Season 3, minor spoiler, ends with everybody getting fucked. Like, completely ransacked, like, levels of PTSD, like,
wow,
literally.
That came out a lot earlier
like
than the movie that I spoiled, and yet I went out and did a giant spoiler. Thank you.
Well, it's minor spoiler, and it's literally just, like... Everyone
at the end of a season, everyone gets fucked. That's a minor spoiler.
Yeah. Everyone gets fucked. I'm not going to tell you who, how, or why, but just trust me.
You just said everyone.
Who? Yeah, exactly.
Everyone.
Who, how, or why? So anyway, And then like season 4 starts with them having to deal with like PTSD and shit and deal with just how bad they got destroyed in season 3. And all of season 4, literally all of it, has just been like wrought with strife and struggle to essentially survive. And I'm like, all right, do we get anything happy anymore? I'm gonna go into season 5 and you're just gonna continue to slap my crying face.
Instead, what you should do is, if you're looking for something short to watch, catch up on Golden Kamuy. And if you're wanting something longer term, sit down and watch all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Because this last season, the season that's going on right now, is so fucking lit. We just saw the stand Black Sabbath, and it made me shit my pants.
Well,
not literally, like figuratively.
Jennifer and I have 3 episodes left of Beelzebub, and then after that we'll probably start JoJo's, or I'm gonna get her to watch ReZero, or both. We'll see.
I think both you and her should stay away from Goblin Slayer.
Okay.
I think that it has touchy enough subjects that you, at least in the first episode, that it will be a put off.
We have heard about the whole rape everything in the first episode.
It's only in the first episode, and it's going to be in a couple other episodes. In this last episode, there was the aftermath of one of those things happening.
Sure.
But that's not even. I hate to say it. I've been reading the manga. That is not even the most fucked up thing that happens.
Well, we'll just leave it there. Shall we get out of here, sir?
Yeah.
All right. Well, please remember, everyone, that you can help support this show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet, picking up some of our merchandise in the link in the notes below. Also, you can send us anything that you'd like us to talk about to our email, whether it's a news story or, just a topic, a game, something you want our opinion on, iReadit at Mjolnir.media. You can also contact us, as well as help us by following and sharing the show on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Reddit. All of those are at iRedditCast. You can leave us 5-star reviews, as well as catch the audio-only version on platforms such as iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. We would greatly appreciate that as well. Otherwise, if you're looking for any other way to help us, just introduce us to somebody else. Just, if you have a friend that might be interested in podcasts or might be interested in this podcast, just recommend it to them. See if you can't get them into the show, and we would appreciate that greatly. Kirk's heading out. Thank you, Kirk, for being here, for discussing things in the chat room, for listening and supporting us. Thank you so much.
So long, Kirk.
Otherwise, though, as always, the show is now on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. If you want to catch us live on Facebook or YouTube, if you want to be here for that live conversation, you are welcome to do so. Otherwise, though, you can follow me on social media at Schwan Michael and Nathan at Bimmenstein. That is your 522nd dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And, well, I was a cheeky reference that I didn't even do in the beginning.
Well.
Man, being tired sucks.
God damn it. Go back to sleep.
I'm too awake now. I'm just going to go and eat food.
Okay, go eat food. All right, that's it, everybody. Have a good day, everyone.
So long.